Hi dear students, welcome back to Plus 2 Biology. We were discussing the chapter Biodiversity and its conservation. Today we have two simple topics to discuss. One is importance of species diversity. The other topic is loss of biodiversity and the IUCN Red List. Okay, then tell me, you have learnt already what is biodiversity. Then tell me, what is the significance of this diversity? If such a diversity is not existing, what happens to the ecosystem? If any one of the species is lost, if any one of the plant species or if any one of the animal species is lost, what happens to the ecosystem? How it affects the ecosystem? Okay, we cannot clearly define what happens to the ecosystem if one or two species is lost from it. Okay, anyway, every individual species is having its own role in the ecosystem. Okay, it depends on its duty, how major its duty is in the ecosystem, its effect will be. Okay, so there are keystone species. There are some species which are essential, very much essential for sustaining the ecosystem. Whereas the role of some other species may not be that much significant. It is sure that if there is enough species diversity in an ecosystem, it is found more or less stable. The community becomes or the ecosystem becomes more stable if there are more species. And many scientists have experimentally proved that species diversity makes the ecosystem more stable. What is meant by a stable ecosystem or a stable community? That means importance of species diversity. The first point to discuss, it makes the community or ecosystem more stable. What is meant by a stable community? That means the fluctuations are less. That means productivity, its biomass, everything is almost in equilibrium. Okay, that we can say a stable community means a community which does not show much variation in the productivity. The productivity become more or less same from year to year. There is no much variation in the productivity if the community is stable. So a stable community is characterized by there is no much variation, there is not too much variation in the productivity. And moreover, it is resistant to invasion of alien species. Other unwanted species introduction or invasion to the community is more or less resistant. Okay, there itself there is a prevention of alien species invasion. So understand a stable community characteristics. There is no much variation in the productivity and it is showing a resistance to invasion by alien species. And also David Tillman, after a number of experiments in a field experiments, he has proved that a stable community shows less year-to-year fluctuation in the biomass, the total production. Okay, so David Tillman has experimentally proved a stable community shows very less fluctuation in year-to-year production of biomass. Total biomass production from one year to next year is there is less fluctuation if the community is stable. The same thing, the productivity is almost same. Okay, so the biomass production is almost the same. The fluctuations are negligible. Okay, so that is what is a stable community is. So species diversity enables the community to become stable. That is the first point. Okay, when we consider human sake, we can say we are destroying almost all communities, we are destroying forests, we are destroying estuaries, we are destroying everything for our benefits. How it affects the human being? It is indirectly affecting us. You know that Kerala is greatly affected by the flood. Every year we are panic and we have some unexpected climatic changes. These are all due to the disturbances in the nature, you know. Okay, anyway, what is the immediate effect of the loss of species diversity is, the diversity is very important for the survival of the mankind, human race on earth, and when we lose that, the balance is lost and we are having unpredictable climatic changes, it adversely affects our survival on Earth. We can say the importance of species diversity is mainly to make the community stable and also to make our survival better on the Earth. Okay? Then, in order to understand the role of species in an ecosystem, Paul Ehrlich has given rivet-pauper hypothesis. Okay, Paul Ehrlich has put forth this hypothesis to give us an idea about the role of every individual species in an ecosystem. He considered the ecosystem as an airplane. And according to him, the rivet, the small screw with which the parts of the airplanes are connected, the rivets of the plane are various species. He equates the species to the rivets, the ecosystem as airplane. Okay, and according to him, the passengers, like we can say human beings, okay, if the passengers in the plane try to pop or steal the rivets, okay, and they are unscrewing and taking the rivets home, means how it affects the airplane. That means a lot what we do to the ecosystem. Okay, and the severity will be according to from where the passengers have stolen the rivets. Okay, if they are taking back the rivets from the wings of the airplane, that become more severe compared to that of the small other areas. Anyway, the rivets of the wings we can consider as the keystone species, the species which sustain the ecosystem. Anyway, understand, according to rivet-pauper hypothesis by Paul Ehrlich, he considered the rivets as species and airplanes as ecosystem, and if the passengers take back the rivets, that means if human-like inhabitants are destroying the species, how it affect the ecosystem or the airplane safety will be depending on what type of species or what type of rivets is popped. Okay, so this is what is rivet-pauper hypothesis by Paul Ehrlich. And if that section is clear, we can just move to the next session, loss of biodiversity. Okay, this is what is a major problem we face now. We are losing our biodiversity in an alarming scale, and it is mainly due to our colonization, urbanization, industrialization, and for this all purposes we are removing deforestation. Okay, so it's a major issue that we face, and we have so many conventions to safeguard our biodiversities. Okay, anyway, see, IUCN Red List 2004 has documented around 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, and 87 plant species has got extincted within the last 500 years. Okay, IUCN Red List record or extinction of this many species of vertebrates, invertebrates, plants within the last 500 years. Okay, then anyway, the recent extinctions, some examples are marked here: dodo, guaga, stellar sea cow, thylacine, then Bali javan and Caspian subspecies of tigers. So, dodo, guaga, stellar sea cow, thylacine, then Bali javan, Caspian subspecies of tigers. These are all examples of some recent extinctions. Okay. Anyway, we are having a detailed list on IUCN Red List. We will move on to that. Before that, till now, there were 5 mass extinctions. According to the evolutionary studies, there were 5 mass extinctions in various eras: Ordovician, Silurian, Triassic, Jurassic, Late Devonian, different periods. There were 5 mass extinctions. And according to biologists, the 6th mass extinction is in progress, and it is 1,000 times faster than the previous extinction. The reason is the anthropogenic action. These all 5 extinctions happened before the dominance of human on Earth. So the 6th extinction is after the dominance of man on Earth. So it is said that the present extinction, the 6th mass extinction is in progress, which is 1,000 times faster than the previous extinction. Just imagine what will happen to our biodiversity if human proceeds like this. Okay. Anyway, the causes of loss of biodiversity. What leads to the loss of biodiversity? The four major causes can be taken as evil quartets. Okay, it include habitat loss, overexploitation, alien species invasion, co-extinction. What leads to the extinction of various species? One of the major reasons is that their habitat loss. We are destroying the habitat for our benefits, like urbanization, industrialization, so habitat loss and habitat fragmentation is one of the major reasons. We can say habitat fragmentation, long forest, even the Amazon and rainforest is cut for soybean cultivation, for agriculture. That means when the habitat is lost or destroyed, it leads to the extinction of number of species. So one reason is that habitat loss. Another reason is our overexploitation. Many of the species has lost, animal species has lost because human overexploit them. Passenger pigeon, stellar sea cow, etc. are examples. They lost, they are extinct due to our overexploitation. And another reason will be alien species invasion. When a studia, another species invade to the natural habitat of a species, that species will gradually become extinct due to the survival of the fittest. Okay, so that is what is another reason, alien species invasion. In order to understand the severity of that alien species invasion, you have an example given in your textbook. The introduction of Nile perch to Lake Victoria of East Africa has led to the extinction of 200 species of small cichlid fishes. Okay, just to get the severity to understand, see, alien species invasion. The invasion of the alien species Nile perch to Lake Victoria of East Africa, it led to the extinction of 200 different species of cichlid fishes. That much great the impact of alien species can become. Okay, so anyway, the other reason for extinction is co-extinction. What do you mean by co-extinction? You know that you are familiar about the panda. It's not an extinct species, just an example. When the bamboo shoots are removed, what happens? When the bamboo plants are removed, the giant panda gets difficult to get its food. That means there are some interdependent species like host, parasite, mutually benefited organisms. Okay, plant pollinator, plant foods. I mean, the panda is feeding on its own specific food, and if that is going to lose, if that is lost, the panda become a problem. Likewise, co-extinction. I mean, when a host is extinct, its parasite is extinct. Okay, this is also another important reason for loss of biodiversity. The four major reasons for loss of biodiversity. First one, habitat loss and fragmentation. Second one, overexploitation by human beings. When our need becomes greed, we can say. Then alien species invasion of other species to a new land or water. Then co-extinction, extinction of interdependent species. We can move to the next session, the IUCN Red List. You have already studied IUCN Red List is the list of threatened species, and here anyway we have 9 categories in IUCN Red List. The first category is extinct. You are very well familiar, you know, mammoth, dinosaurs, like organisms. There is no even single member existing in the world. That means it is extinct. Okay, even the last member is died. We have clear idea, even the last member is died. So it is extinct. Then extinct in the wild, second category. What did it mean? There is no member existing in its natural habitat in the wild, but we have some members under captivity. So they are not completely extinct, but they are extinct in the wild. We have preserved some members in captivity. That is what is surviving in captivity, but no member in wild. Okay, extinct in the wild. Then the threatened species, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean 3, 4, 5 are threatened species. What do you mean? critically endangered and vulnerable. Okay, these critically endangered organisms are the organisms which are facing extremely high risk of extinction in the immediate future. Okay, if an organism faces extremely high risk of extinction in the immediate future, they come under this category. This is a supreme category among the threatened. And endangered species indicate what? This means these are facing very high risk of extinction in the immediate future, in the near future. Okay, endangered, they face very high risk of extinction in the near future. Whereas vulnerable, they face high risk of extinction in the medium term future. Okay, this all the three are under threatened species. The next one, near threatened. That means they are ready to qualify as threatened. Now they are not threatened species, but this loss of its species diversity is in a way that it becomes a threatened species in the near future. So that means they are getting to qualify as threatened. Now not threatened. Near threatened means close to the threatened species. Okay. Then least concern means we are least concerned about that we have abundant that taxa. Okay, that members are abundant. Then data deficient means we have no sufficient data or informations to classify this into any of the categories. Okay, the last one is not evaluated. We haven't evaluated this or assessed this to any of the criteria. Like this, there are 9 categories under IUCN Red List: extinct in the wild, critically endangered, vulnerable, near threatened, least concerned, data deficient, and not evaluated. And all examples, if you need, we will discuss in the live session. One each example we will discuss in the live session. Anyway, study those things for the next live class and we will discuss in detail at that time. Thank you.